Picture this. It's a scorching afternoon in Ethiopia, November 24th, 1974. The sun beats down mercilessly on the barren landscape of the Afar Depression, where the earth itself seems to crack and whisper secrets of ages past. A young graduate student named Donald Johansson trudges through the dust, his team having called it quits for the day. But something catches his eye, a glint of bone, ancient and weathered, jutting from the sediment like a message from the deepest corridors of time. In that moment, as his fingers brush against what would become the most famous fossil in the world, Donald doesn't yet know that he's about to meet Lucy, a woman who died 3.2 million years ago, yet whose discovery would revolutionize everything we thought we knew about human evolution. Before we embark on this extraordinary journey through time, I want you to do something that might seem small, but means the world to us. If you enjoy discovering the hidden stories that shaped our world, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. The algorithm can be unpredictable, and without your support, you might not find us again in the vast ocean of content. Your like tells us you're ready for more incredible stories, and your subscription ensures you'll never miss the tales that illuminate our past and help us understand our present. Now settle in, get comfortable, and let me tell you the remarkable story of Lucy. A story that begins not with her discovery, but with her life, her world, and the incredible journey that brought her story to light. To understand Lucy's significance, we must first travel back in time, not just to 1974, but to an era so distant that it challenges our very conception of what it means to be human. 3.2 million years ago, our planet was a dramatically different place. The continents hadn't yet settled into their current positions. The climate was warmer and more humid, and Africa's landscape was dominated by vast woodlands and sprawling savannas dotted with lakes and rivers. This was the Pliocene epoch, a time when the ancestors of modern humans were taking their first tentative steps toward becoming the species we are today. In this ancient world, in what is now the Afar region of Ethiopia, lived a small female hominid who would one day become known to the world as Lucy. She belonged to a species called Australopithecus afarensis, a name that literally means southern ape from afar. But Lucy was no ordinary ape. She was something entirely new in the evolutionary record, a creature that walked upright on two legs while still retaining many of the characteristics that connected her to our primate ancestors. Imagine Lucy as she might have appeared in life. She stood about 3.5 feet tall, roughly the height of a modern 8-year-old child, but with the proportions of an adult. Her brain was about the size of a chimpanzee's, roughly 1/3 the size of a modern human brain. Her arms were longer than ours, her fingers curved, perfect for grasping tree branches, and her face projected forward in a way that would seem distinctly ape-like to our modern eyes. Yet despite these differences, Lucy possessed something revolutionary, the ability to walk upright with remarkable efficiency. Her skeleton tells us a story of adaptation and survival. Her pelvis was wide and bowl-shaped, providing the stability needed for bipedal locomotion. Her leg bones were angled in a way that allowed her to balance her weight over her feet as she walked. Her spine curved in an S shape, just like ours, distributing weight evenly and allowing for efficient upright movement. These weren't just minor adjustments, they represented a complete reimagining of how a primate could move through the world. But Lucy's world was far from the safe, predictable environment we might imagine. The Afar region 3 million years ago was a place of constant change and danger. Massive volcanic eruptions periodically reshaped the landscape, covering vast areas with ash and lava. The climate fluctuated between periods of relative abundance and devastating drought. Predators roamed the landscape, not just the familiar lions and leopards we might expect, but creatures that would seem like monsters from our perspective. Giant hyenas the size of modern bears, saber-toothed cats with canine teeth longer than railroad spikes, and crocodiles that dwarfed anything alive today. In this challenging environment, Lucy's species had to be incredibly adaptable. They lived in small groups, probably ranging from a dozen to several dozen individuals. During the day, they would forage for food, fruits, seeds, tubers, and occasionally small animals or insects. Their diet was diverse and opportunistic, changing with the seasons and the availability of resources. When food was scarce, they might travel great distances, their upright posture allowing them to cover ground more efficiently than their quadrupedal cousins. The social structure of Lucy's group was likely complex and nuanced. Like modern chimpanzees and bonobos, they probably had intricate relationships based on kinship, alliance, and competition. They communicated through a combination of vocalizations, gestures, and body language. While they couldn't speak in the way we understand language, they likely had a sophisticated system of communication that allowed them to coordinate group activities, warn of danger, and maintain social bonds. Lucy herself was probably between 15 and 20 years old when she died. Middle-aged for her species, given that few Australopithecus afarensis individuals lived beyond their 20s. Her bones show signs of the hard life she led. Evidence of muscle attachment points that speak to a lifetime of climbing, walking, and physical labor. She had likely given birth to children, though whether any of them survived to adulthood is something we'll never know. The question of how Lucy died has puzzled scientists for decades. Her skeleton shows no obvious signs of predation or violence, though this doesn't rule out either possibility. Some researchers have suggested she might have fallen from a tree, while others propose she died from disease or simply old age. What we do know is that she died near water. The geological evidence suggests she was buried relatively quickly after death, which is why her bones were preserved so remarkably well. For 3 million years, Lucy's remains lay buried in the sediments of the Afar Depression. Layer upon layer of volcanic ash, sand, and debris covered her bones, creating a geological time capsule that would preserve her story for future generations. The same volcanic activity that made her world dangerous also provided the perfect conditions for fossilization. The ash layers, datable through radiometric techniques, would later allow scientists to determine precisely when she lived. Meanwhile, the world above continued to evolve. The climate grew cooler and drier, transforming the lush woodlands of Lucy's time into the more arid landscapes we see today. New species of hominids evolved and went extinct. The ancestors of modern humans eventually emerged, developing larger brains, more sophisticated tools, and the capacity for symbolic thought and language. Civilizations rose and fell, continents shifted, and the story of Lucy became buried not just in sediment, but in the depths of prehistory. The stage for Lucy's rediscovery was set in the 1960s and 1970s, when a new generation of paleoanthropologists began to recognize the importance of the African continent in understanding human evolution. Charles Darwin had predicted that Africa would prove to be the birthplace of humanity, and fossil discoveries in South Africa and Kenya were beginning to prove him right. The Afar Depression, with its unique geological conditions and rich fossil deposits, became a particular focus of interest. Donald Johanson, a young American paleoanthropologist, was part of a new wave of researchers who were applying rigorous scientific methods to the study of human origins. Born in 1943, Johanson had developed a passion for human evolution while studying at the University of Chicago. He was methodical, ambitious, and driven by a genuine desire to understand the deep history of our species. In 1972, Johanson made his first trip to Ethiopia as part of an international team investigating the fossil-rich deposits of the Afar region. The team was led by Maurice Tayeb, a French geologist who had identified the area as potentially significant for paleontological research. Also part of the team was Tim White, a brilliant young researcher who would later become one of the world's leading experts on human evolution. The early expeditions were challenging. The Afar Depression is one of the most geologically active regions on Earth, with temperatures that regularly exceed 125 degrees Fahrenheit and an altitude that sits below sea level. The landscape is harsh and unforgiving, with salt flats, active volcanoes, and occasional conflicts between local ethnic groups. Working conditions were primitive, and the researchers often spent weeks in the field with minimal supplies and no contact with the outside world. But the fossil discoveries were extraordinary. The team began uncovering evidence of ancient hominids that were older than anything previously discovered. Fragments of skulls, teeth, and limb bones painted a picture of early human ancestors that was more complex and varied than anyone had imagined. Each discovery raised new questions and challenged existing theories about human evolution. The breakthrough came on that fateful day in November 1974. Johanson and his graduate student Tom Gray were returning to camp after a morning of surveying when Johanson decided to take a detour through an area they had explored before. It was a decision that would change the course of paleoanthropology forever. As they walked across the barren landscape, Johanson's trained eye caught sight of something unusual. There, partially exposed in the sediment, was a piece of bone that looked different from the usual animal fossils they encountered. It was an arm bone, and it was clearly from a hominid. But this was just the beginning. As Johanson and Gray began to examine the area more carefully, they realized they were looking at something unprecedented. Scattered across the slope were dozens of bone fragments, all from the same individual. There was part of a skull, vertebrae, ribs, pelvis, and limb bones. It was the most complete early hominid skeleton ever discovered, and it was clearly very old. The team spent the next few hours carefully mapping and collecting the visible fossils, but they knew this was just the beginning. Over the following weeks, they would conduct a systematic excavation of the site, carefully screening tons of sediment and recovering hundreds of bone fragments. When they were finished, they had collected about 40% of a complete skeleton, an extraordinary percentage for a fossil of this age. The nickname Lucy came about in a typically human way. That evening, as the team celebrated their discovery, someone put on a cassette tape of the Beatles' song "Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds." The name stuck, and what had been simply AL288-1 in the field notes became Lucy to the world. But Lucy's real name, the one given to her by the local Afar people, was Dinkinesh, which means "you are marvelous" in the Amharic language. It was a fitting tribute to a discovery that would prove to be truly marvelous in its implications for our understanding of human evolution. The initial analysis of Lucy's bones was conducted in the field laboratory at the expedition's base camp. As Johanson and his colleagues carefully cleaned and examined each fragment, the significance of their discovery became increasingly clear. This wasn't just another early hominid fossil. This was a nearly complete individual that could provide unprecedented insights into how our ancestors lived and moved. The most striking feature of Lucy's skeleton was the clear evidence for bipedalism. Her pelvis was unmistakably adapted for upright walking, with the characteristic bowl shape that distinguishes bipedal hominids from quadrupedal apes. Her leg bones showed the proper angles and proportions for efficient two-legged locomotion. Her spine displayed the S-shaped curve that allows humans to balance while walking upright. But Lucy also retained many primitive features that linked her to our ape ancestors. Her brain case was small, her arms were long relative to her legs, and her fingers were curved in a way that suggested she was still comfortable in the trees. This combination of advanced and primitive features made Lucy a perfect transitional form, a missing link that demonstrated how evolution doesn't happen in sudden leaps, but through gradual changes over millions of years. The geological context of Lucy's discovery was crucial for understanding her significance. The fossil was found in sediments that could be dated using radiometric techniques applied to volcanic ash layers above and below the fossil-bearing strata. This analysis revealed that Lucy lived approximately 3.2 million years ago, making her one of the oldest known human ancestors at the time of her discovery. But Lucy wasn't alone. Over the following years, Johansson's team discovered remains of other Australopithecus afarensis individuals at the same site and nearby locations. These included the famous First Family, a collection of fossils representing at least 13 individuals who appeared to have died together, possibly in a flash flood or other catastrophic event. These discoveries provided a broader picture of Lucy's species and their way of life. The scientific analysis of Lucy's remains took years to complete. Every bone was carefully studied, measured, and compared to both modern human bones and the bones of other apes. Advanced techniques were used to determine everything from Lucy's age at death to her likely diet and lifestyle. Computer modeling was employed to understand how she walked and moved. One of the most important discoveries was that Lucy's species was sexually dimorphic, meaning that males and females were dramatically different in size. Adult males of Australopithecus afarensis were nearly twice the size of females, a pattern seen in many modern apes, but not in humans. This suggested that Lucy's species had a social structure more similar to that of gorillas or chimpanzees than to modern humans. The implications of Lucy's discovery extended far beyond the scientific community. She provided tangible evidence for human evolution at a time when the topic was still controversial in many parts of the world. Her relatively human-like appearance made evolution seem less abstract and more personal. She wasn't just a collection of fossils. She was an individual with a story, a personality, and a place in the human family tree. Lucy's discovery also revolutionized our understanding of the sequence of human evolution. Previously, scientists had assumed that brain enlargement preceded the evolution of upright walking. Lucy proved that the opposite was true. Our ancestors were walking upright millions of years before their brains began to expand significantly. This insight led to new theories about the driving forces behind human evolution. The environment in which Lucy lived provides crucial clues about why bipedalism evolved in the first place. 3 million years ago, Africa was undergoing significant climate change. The continent was becoming cooler and drier, and the vast forests that had covered much of the continent were giving way to more open woodlands and grasslands. In this changing environment, the ability to walk upright would have provided several advantages. First, upright walking is more energy efficient than knuckle walking when traveling long distances across open terrain. As food sources became more scattered, Lucy's ancestors would have needed to travel farther to find adequate nutrition. The ability to walk efficiently would have been a significant survival advantage. Second, standing upright would have allowed Lucy's species to see over tall grass and spot both predators and prey at greater distances. In the increasingly open landscapes of Pliocene Africa, this enhanced visual surveillance would have been crucial for survival. Third, upright posture would have freed the hands for carrying tools, food, and infants. While Lucy's species probably didn't make sophisticated tools, they may have used simple implements like sticks and stones. The ability to carry these tools while walking would have been advantageous. Finally, upright walking may have provided thermoregulatory benefits. Standing upright exposes less body surface to the direct rays of the sun and allows for better heat dissipation through airflow around the body. In the increasingly hot and dry climate of Lucy's time, these advantages would have been significant. The social implications of Lucy's discovery were equally profound. Her species lived in groups, and the fossil evidence suggests these groups were composed of individuals of different ages and both sexes. This pattern of group living is seen in many modern primates and suggests that Lucy's species had complex social relationships. The marked sexual dimorphism in Lucy's species tells us something important about their social structure. In modern primates, extreme size differences between males and females are usually associated with polygynous mating systems, where dominant males mate with multiple females. This suggests that Lucy's society may have been organized around male competition for access to females, with successful males potentially controlling harems of females. However, the social life of Lucy's species was probably more complex than simple male dominance. The fossil evidence suggests that individuals of different ages lived together, implying some form of extended family structure. Adults probably cared for young for extended periods, and there may have been cooperation between individuals in finding food and avoiding predators. Communication among Lucy's species was likely sophisticated, though it probably didn't involve language as we understand it. They may have used a combination of vocalizations, gestures, and facial expressions to convey information about food sources, dangers, and social relationships. This form of communication would have been crucial for maintaining group cohesion and coordinating activities. The discovery of Lucy also shed light on the cognitive abilities of early hominids. While her brain was only about 1/3 the size of a modern human brain, it was proportionally larger than that of modern chimpanzees. This suggests that Lucy's species had cognitive abilities that were intermediate between those of modern apes and humans. Evidence from other Australopithecus afarensis sites suggests that these early hominids may have made simple tools. While no stone tools have been found in direct association with Lucy's remains, cut marks on animal bones from sites of similar age suggest that her species may have used sharp stones to process meat and other foods. The tool used by Lucy's species was probably opportunistic rather than systematic. They may have picked up naturally sharp stones when needed, rather than deliberately manufacturing tools. This behavior would have been similar to that seen in modern chimpanzees, who are known to use sticks to extract termites from mounds and stones to crack nuts. The diet of Lucy's species was probably varied and flexible. Their teeth show adaptations for processing both soft and hard foods, suggesting they ate fruits, leaves, seeds, and possibly roots and tubers. The wear patterns on their teeth indicate they consumed gritty foods, possibly including some meat, though they were probably primarily vegetarian. The landscape of Lucy's time would have provided a variety of food sources. The woodlands and grasslands would have been rich in fruits, seeds, and other plant foods. Rivers and lakes would have provided water and attracted animals that could be scavenged or hunted. The ability to exploit this diverse range of food sources would have been crucial for survival in a changing environment. Lucy's species probably lived in territories that they defended against other groups. The size of these territories would have depended on the availability of food and water. During times of abundance, groups might have been able to maintain smaller territories, while during droughts or other challenging periods, they might have needed to range over much larger areas. The daily life of Lucy's group would have been structured around the search for food and water. They probably rose with the sun and spent much of the day foraging. During the hottest parts of the day, they might have rested in whatever shade was available. As evening approached, they would have looked for safe places to sleep, possibly in trees or rocky outcrops that provided protection from predators. The threat of predation was constant in Lucy's world. Large cats, hyenas, and wild dogs all posed significant dangers. The ability to climb trees would have been crucial for escape, which explains why Lucy's species retained their long arms and curved fingers. Their upright posture would have also allowed them to spot predators at greater distances and coordinate group responses to threats. Reproduction and child-rearing in Lucy's species would have been similar to that of modern apes. Females probably gave birth to single offspring after pregnancies lasting several months. The young would have been dependent on their mothers for an extended period, possibly several years. This extended period of dependency would have allowed for learning and the transmission of knowledge from one generation to the next. The lifespan of Lucy's species was probably short by modern standards. Few individuals lived beyond their 20s, and infant mortality was likely high. This short lifespan meant that successful reproduction was crucial for the survival of the species. Individuals who could survive to adulthood and successfully raise offspring would have had a significant evolutionary advantage. The seasonal changes in Lucy's environment would have created different challenges and opportunities throughout the year. During the wet season, food would have been abundant, and groups might have been able to remain in smaller territories. During the dry season, resources would have been scarce, and groups might have had to travel long distances to find food and water. These seasonal migrations would have required sophisticated knowledge of the landscape and the ability to remember the locations of water sources and food plants. This type of spatial memory is seen in modern primates and suggests that Lucy's species had considerable cognitive abilities. The discovery of Lucy also provided important insights into the evolution of human sexuality and pair bonding. The extreme sexual dimorphism in her species suggests that males and females had very different roles in society. Large males may have been responsible for defending territories and resources, while smaller females may have been primarily responsible for foraging and childcare. However, the social structure of Lucy's species was probably more complex than simple male dominance. The fossil evidence suggests that individuals of different ages lived together, implying some form of extended family structure. This pattern is seen in many modern primates and suggests that Lucy's species had complex social relationships based on kinship and alliance. The evolution of bipedalism in Lucy's lineage had profound implications for human evolution. Walking upright changed not just how our ancestors moved, but how they lived, socialized, and interacted with their environment. It was the first major step on the long evolutionary journey that would eventually lead to modern humans. The study of Lucy's remains continued for decades after her initial discovery. New analytical techniques allowed scientists to extract additional information from her bones. CT scans revealed internal structures that weren't visible to the naked eye. Chemical analysis of her bones provided information about her diet and the environment in which she lived. One of the most important later discoveries was evidence that Lucy may have died from a fall. In 2016, Researchers using high-resolution CT scans found fractures in her bones that were consistent with a fall from a significant height. This finding suggested that Lucy may have fallen from a tree, providing a poignant end to the story of a species that was transitioning from an arboreal to a terrestrial lifestyle. The location where Lucy was found continued to yield important discoveries. In subsequent years, researchers found fossils of other Australopithecus afarensis individuals, including infants and juveniles, that provided insights into the growth and development of Lucy's species. These discoveries painted an increasingly detailed picture of how Lucy's species lived and evolved. The impact of Lucy's discovery on paleoanthropology cannot be overstated. She became the most famous early human ancestor in the world, inspiring countless researchers to enter the field of human evolution. Her discovery also led to increased funding for paleoanthropological research and greater public interest in human origins. Lucy's influence extended beyond the scientific community. She became a cultural icon, appearing in museums around the world and inspiring books, documentaries, and educational programs. Her story helped make the concept of human evolution more accessible to the general public and contributed to greater acceptance of evolutionary theory. The techniques developed for studying Lucy's remains also advanced the field of paleoanthropology more generally. The careful excavation methods, detailed documentation, and sophisticated analysis techniques that were used in her study became standard practice for investigating early hominid fossils. Lucy's discovery also had important implications for our understanding of human uniqueness. She demonstrated that many of the characteristics we consider distinctly human, such as upright walking, evolved much earlier than previously thought. This finding challenged traditional ideas about what makes humans special and forced scientists to reconsider the timeline of human evolution. The study of Lucy's species also provided important insights into the process of evolution itself. The combination of advanced and primitive features in her skeleton demonstrated how evolution works through gradual changes over time rather than sudden leaps. This finding supported Darwin's theory of gradual evolution and provided important evidence against theories of rapid evolutionary change. The environmental context of Lucy's discovery also became increasingly important as scientists recognized the role of climate change in human evolution. The changing African climate during the Pliocene epoch provided the selective pressures that drove the evolution of bipedalism and other human characteristics. This understanding led to new theories about the relationship between environmental change and evolutionary innovation. Lucy's legacy continues to influence paleoanthropology today. New discoveries of early hominids are often compared to Lucy, and her species continues to serve as a benchmark for understanding human evolution. The analytical techniques developed for studying her remains are still used in the investigation of new fossils. The ongoing study of Lucy's species has also revealed the complexity of early human evolution. Rather than a simple linear progression from ape to human, the fossil record shows a complex pattern of evolutionary experimentation, with multiple species of early hominids coexisting and competing for resources. Lucy's species was just one branch on the complex tree of human evolution. Modern techniques continue to reveal new information about Lucy and her species. Advanced DNA analysis techniques may eventually allow scientists to extract genetic information from her remains, providing insights into her evolutionary relationships and the genetic basis of human characteristics. The discovery of Lucy also highlighted the importance of international cooperation in paleoanthropological research. The team that discovered her included researchers from multiple countries, and her study involved collaboration between institutions around the world. This international cooperation became a model for subsequent paleoanthropological research. The ethical implications of Lucy's discovery also became increasingly important as scientists recognized the need to work closely with local communities and respect cultural sensitivities. The involvement of Ethiopian researchers in the study of Lucy's remains helped establish protocols for international collaboration in paleoanthropological research. Lucy's story also became intertwined with the broader story of African independence and self-determination. Her discovery came at a time when many African nations were asserting their sovereignty and reclaiming their cultural heritage. The fact that humanity's earliest ancestors were found in Africa helped challenge Western-centered narratives about human origins and highlighted the importance of African contributions to human knowledge. The preservation and display of Lucy's remains also raised important questions about scientific ownership and cultural patrimony. While her remains were initially studied in the United States, they were eventually returned to Ethiopia, where they are now housed in the National Museum of Ethiopia. This decision reflected growing recognition of the importance of keeping archaeological materials in their countries of origin. Lucy's discovery also coincided with advances in mass media and communication that allowed her story to reach a global audience. Television documentaries, newspaper articles, and magazine features brought her story to millions of people around the world. This media attention helped generate public support for paleoanthropological research and increased awareness of human evolution. The educational impact of Lucy's discovery was equally significant. Her story became a standard part of human evolution curricula in schools and universities around the world. The availability of detailed information about her remains allowed educators to use her as a concrete example of human evolution, making abstract concepts more tangible and understandable. Lucy's influence on popular culture was also considerable. She appeared in countless books, films, and television programs, often serving as a symbol of human origins and our connection to the natural world. Her story inspired artists, writers, and filmmakers to explore themes of evolution, identity, and our place in the natural world. The scientific impact of Lucy's discovery continues to resonate today. Her remains are still studied using new techniques and technologies, and each new analysis provides additional insights into her life and times. The questions raised by her discovery continue to drive research in paleoanthropology and related fields. Lucy's story also highlights the importance of serendipity in scientific discovery. Her discovery was the result of a chance decision to explore a particular area on a particular day. This element of chance reminds us that scientific discovery often depends on being in the right place at the right time, prepared to recognize the significance of unexpected observations. The multidisciplinary nature of Lucy's study also became a model for modern paleoanthropological research. Her investigation involved experts in anatomy, geology, chemistry, physics, and other fields, demonstrating the importance of bringing together diverse expertise to understand complex scientific questions. Lucy's discovery also contributed to the democratization of scientific knowledge. Her story was told in accessible language that could be understood by non-specialists, helping to bridge the gap between scientific research and public understanding. This approach to science communication became increasingly important as scientific knowledge became more specialized and complex. The technological advances that made Lucy's discovery possible also highlight the importance of methodological innovation in scientific research. The dating techniques, analytical methods, and excavation procedures that were used in her study represented the cutting edge of scientific technology at the time. These advances continue to drive progress in paleoanthropological research. Lucy's story also demonstrates the importance of long-term research programs in advancing scientific knowledge. Her discovery was the result of years of systematic exploration and investigation, and her study continued for decades after her initial discovery. This long-term commitment to research is essential for addressing complex scientific questions. The international collaboration that characterized Lucy's study also became a model for addressing global scientific challenges. The pooling of expertise, resources, and perspectives from multiple countries demonstrated the value of international cooperation in advancing scientific knowledge. Lucy's discovery also had important implications for our understanding of gender in early human evolution. As a female individual, she challenged male-centered narratives about human origins and highlighted the importance of considering the roles of both males and females in evolutionary processes. The ongoing study of Lucy's remains also demonstrates the importance of preserving scientific specimens for future research. New techniques and technologies continue to reveal information that wasn't accessible when she was first discovered, emphasizing the value of maintaining scientific collections for future generations. Lucy's story also illustrates the complex relationship between scientific discovery and cultural interpretation. Her discovery was interpreted through the lens of contemporary scientific theory and cultural assumptions. And these interpretations have evolved as our understanding of human evolution has advanced. The impact of Lucy's discovery on our understanding of human origins cannot be overstated. She provided concrete evidence for human evolution at a crucial time in the development of evolutionary theory. Her discovery helped establish Africa as the birthplace of humanity and demonstrated the antiquity of human origins. Lucy's story also highlights the importance of fieldwork in paleoanthropological research. Her discovery was the result of careful survey and excavation in challenging field conditions, demonstrating the value of systematic field investigation in advancing scientific knowledge. The multidisciplinary nature of Lucy's study also became a model for modern scientific research. Her investigation required expertise in multiple fields, and the integration of these diverse perspectives was essential for understanding the significance of her discovery. Lucy's legacy continues to influence paleoanthropological research today. New discoveries are often compared to her remains, and her species continues to serve as a benchmark for understanding human evolution. The analytical techniques developed for studying her remains are still used in the investigation of new fossils. The story of Lucy also demonstrates the importance of public engagement in scientific research. Her discovery generated widespread public interest in human evolution and helped increase support for paleoanthropological research. This public engagement remains important for maintaining support for scientific research and education. Lucy's discovery also had important implications for our understanding of human diversity and variation. Her remains demonstrated that early human ancestors were morphologically diverse, challenging simple linear models of human evolution. This finding has important implications for understanding the complexity of human evolutionary history. The ongoing study of Lucy's remains also highlights the importance of technological innovation in scientific research. New analytical techniques continue to reveal information that wasn't accessible when she was first discovered, demonstrating the value of continued methodological development. Lucy's story also illustrates the importance of international cooperation in addressing global scientific questions. Her discovery and study involved researchers from multiple countries, and this international collaboration was essential for advancing our understanding of human evolution. The ethical implications of Lucy's discovery also became increasingly important as scientists recognized the need to work closely with local communities and respect cultural sensitivities. The involvement of Ethiopian researchers in the study of her remains helped establish protocols for international collaboration in paleoanthropological research. Lucy's influence on education and public understanding of science also remains significant. Her story continues to be used in educational programs around the world, helping to make the concepts of human evolution more accessible to students and the general public. The cultural impact of Lucy's discovery also extends beyond the scientific community. She has become a symbol of human origins and our connection to the natural world, inspiring artists, writers, and filmmakers to explore themes of evolution, identity, and our place in the natural world. As we reach the end of Lucy's remarkable story, it's important to reflect on what her discovery means for our understanding of ourselves and our place in the natural world. Lucy represents a crucial chapter in the long story of human evolution, a story that began millions of years ago in the forests and savannas of Africa and continues today in laboratories and field sites around the world. Her discovery reminds us that we are part of a long evolutionary continuum, connected not just to other modern humans, but to all life on Earth. The same processes that shaped Lucy's species continue to shape us today, and understanding these processes is crucial for understanding ourselves and our future. Lucy's story also demonstrates the power of scientific inquiry to reveal the hidden history of our world. Through careful observation, systematic investigation, and innovative analysis, scientists have been able to reconstruct the life story of an individual who lived more than 3 million years ago. This achievement represents one of the greatest triumphs of human curiosity and ingenuity. The legacy of Lucy's discovery extends far beyond the scientific community. She has become a symbol of human origins and our connection to the natural world, inspiring countless individuals to pursue careers in science and contributing to our collective understanding of what it means to be human. As we continue to discover new fossils and develop new techniques for studying them, Lucy's story will undoubtedly continue to evolve. New discoveries may challenge some of our current interpretations, while new analytical techniques may reveal previously unknown aspects of her life and times. This ongoing process of discovery and reinterpretation is what makes science so exciting and dynamic. Lucy's discovery also reminds us of the importance of preserving the natural world for future generations. The landscapes where she lived are now threatened by climate change, development, and other human activities. Protecting these areas is not just important for understanding our past, but for ensuring that future generations have the opportunity to make new discoveries and advance our understanding of human evolution. In the end, Lucy's story is our story. She represents a crucial chapter in the long journey from our earliest ancestors to modern humans, a journey that has taken millions of years and is still continuing today. Her discovery has helped us understand where we came from, and this understanding is essential for determining where we are going. The small female hominid who died on the shores of an ancient lake 3 million years ago could never have imagined that her story would one day inspire millions of people around the world. Yet in death, Lucy achieved a kind of immortality, her fossilized remains serving as a bridge between the distant past and the present, between our animal origins and our human aspirations. As you settle into sleep tonight, remember Lucy's story. Remember that you are part of an unbroken chain of life that stretches back millions of years, connecting you to every living thing on Earth. Remember that the same curiosity that drove Lucy's species to explore new territories and adapt to changing environments continues to drive us today as we explore the mysteries of our origins and our place in the universe. Sleep well, knowing that you carry within you the legacy of Lucy and countless other ancestors who survived, adapted, and passed on their genes so that you could be here today. Their story is your story, and your story is part of the continuing epic of human evolution. A story that began in the ancient landscapes of Africa and continues wherever humans dare to dream, discover, and explore the boundaries of what is possible. The discovery of Lucy changed everything we thought we knew about human evolution, but perhaps more importantly, it changed how we see ourselves. We are not separate from nature, but part of it. We are not the end point of evolution, but participants in an ongoing process. We are not alone in the universe, but connected to all life through the long chain of evolutionary history that links us to Lucy and to every other living thing on Earth. In the quiet darkness of night, as you drift towards sleep, carry with you the wonder of Lucy's story. Let it remind you that every day brings new opportunities for discovery, new chances to understand our world and our place in it. Let it inspire you to ask questions, seek answers, and never stop marveling at the incredible journey that brought us all to this moment in time. But Lucy's story doesn't end with her discovery in 1974. In many ways, that was just the beginning of an even more remarkable journey, one that would take her remains around the world and transform our understanding of human evolution in ways that Donald Johanson and his team could never have imagined. As the years passed following her discovery, Lucy became not just a scientific specimen, but an ambassador for human origins, a teacher whose lessons would reach far beyond the academic world. The immediate aftermath of Lucy's discovery was a whirlwind of scientific activity. The fragile bones had to be carefully transported from the remote Ethiopian field site to laboratories where they could be properly studied. Each fragment was photographed, catalogued, and described in meticulous detail. The process of reconstructing Lucy's skeleton was like assembling a three-dimensional puzzle where many of the pieces were missing, and some were so fragile they could crumble at the slightest touch. The first major challenge was simply figuring out how all the pieces fit together. Unlike modern medical specimens, Lucy's bones had been scattered and broken over millions of years. Some fragments were no larger than a fingernail, while others were nearly complete bones. The researchers had to use their knowledge of anatomy, comparative studies with modern humans and apes, and careful analysis of the bone surfaces to determine how each piece related to the others. As the reconstruction progressed, the true significance of Lucy's discovery became increasingly clear. Her pelvis, in particular, was a revelation. The broad, bowl-shaped structure was clearly adapted for bipedal locomotion, yet it retained certain features that linked it to the pelvises of quadrupedal apes. This combination of features provided concrete evidence for the evolutionary transition from quadrupedalism to bipedalism. The detailed analysis of Lucy's limb bones revealed additional insights into her locomotion. Her femur, or thigh bone, showed the characteristic angle that allows bipedal creatures to walk efficiently. Her knee joint displayed the specialized features that prevent the leg from collapsing inward during walking. Her foot bones, though incomplete, suggested a foot that was adapted for both walking on the ground and grasping branches in trees. But perhaps the most intriguing aspect of Lucy's anatomy was what it revealed about the evolution of the human brain. Her skull, though fragmentary, indicated a brain size of approximately 400 cubic centimeters, about the same size as a modern chimpanzee's brain. but significantly smaller than the 1,400 cubic centimeter brain of modern humans. This finding confirmed that bipedalism evolved long before the dramatic brain enlargement that characterized later human evolution. The implications of this discovery were profound. For decades, scientists had assumed that the evolution of large brains was the driving force behind human evolution. The prevailing theory suggested that our ancestors developed larger brains first, which then enabled them to create tools and adopt upright posture. Lucy's discovery turned this theory on its head, demonstrating that upright walking came first, followed much later by brain enlargement. This reversal of the traditional sequence led to new theories about the forces driving human evolution. If brain enlargement wasn't the primary driver, what was? The answer seemed to lie in the changing African environment of the Pliocene epoch. As forests gave way to more open landscapes, the ability to walk efficiently across open ground became increasingly important for survival. The environmental context of Lucy's discovery became a major focus of research in the years following her discovery. Scientists began to reconstruct the ancient climate and ecology of the Afar region during the Pliocene epoch, using evidence from fossil pollen, ancient soils, and the remains of other animals found in the same deposits as Lucy. What emerged was a picture of a world in transition. The lush forests that had covered much of Africa during earlier epochs were giving way to more open woodlands and grasslands. The climate was becoming cooler and more variable, with pronounced wet and dry seasons. In this changing environment, the ability to travel efficiently between scattered food sources would have been crucial for survival. The fossil record from Lucy's time period also revealed a remarkable diversity of early hominids. Lucy's species, Australopithecus afarensis, was not alone in the African landscape. Other species of early hominids were evolving and adapting to the changing environment in different ways. Some developed massive jaws and teeth for processing tough plant foods, while others became increasingly adapted for life in the trees. This diversity challenged the traditional view of human evolution as a linear progression from ape to human. Instead, the fossil record revealed a complex pattern of evolutionary experimentation, with multiple species trying different approaches to survival in the changing African environment. Lucy's species was just one of many experiments in early hominid evolution, though it proved to be a particularly successful one. The study of Lucy's remains also revealed important information about the social behavior of early hominids. The discovery of the first family at a nearby site provided evidence that Lucy's species lived in groups that included individuals of different ages and both sexes. This pattern of group living is seen in many modern primates and suggests that early hominids had complex social relationships. The marked sexual dimorphism in Lucy's species, with males being much larger than females, provided clues about their mating system and social structure. This pattern is typically associated with polygynous mating systems, where successful males mate with multiple females. The large size of males would have been advantageous in competition with other males for access to females. However, the social life of Lucy's species was probably more complex than simple male dominance. The presence of individuals of different ages in the same groups suggests that there was some form of extended family structure, with adults caring for young and possibly sharing resources. This type of social organization would have been crucial for survival in the challenging African environment. The communication abilities of Lucy's species also became a subject of intense study. While they clearly didn't have language as we understand it, they likely had sophisticated systems of communication that allowed them to coordinate group activities and share information about food sources and dangers. Their vocalizations were probably more complex than those of modern apes, though still far simpler than human language. The technological capabilities of Lucy's species were also a source of fascination. While no stone tools have been found in direct association with Lucy's remains, cut marks on animal bones from sites of similar age suggest that early hominids were using sharp stones to process food. This tool use was probably opportunistic rather than systematic, with individuals picking up naturally occurring sharp stones when needed. The diet of Lucy's species was reconstructed through careful analysis of their teeth and jaws. The wear patterns on their teeth indicated that they ate a variety of foods, including fruits, seeds, leaves, and possibly some meat. Their teeth were adapted for processing both soft and hard foods, suggesting a flexible diet that could adapt to changing seasonal availability of different food sources. The microscopic analysis of Lucy's teeth revealed additional details about her diet and lifestyle. The scratches and pits on her tooth surfaces provided information about the texture and hardness of the food she ate. Chemical analysis of her teeth and bones provided insights into the types of plants and animals that were present in her environment. The study of Lucy's growth and development also provided important insights into the life history of early hominids. Analysis of her bones suggested that she was a young adult when she died, probably between 15 and 20 years old. This relatively young age at death was typical for her species, as few individuals lived beyond their 20s in the harsh African environment. The growth patterns revealed in Lucy's bones suggested that her species had a life history that was intermediate between those of modern apes and humans. They probably matured more slowly than modern apes, but more quickly than modern humans. This intermediate pattern reflected their position in the evolutionary transition from ape to human. The question of how Lucy died remained a mystery for decades after her discovery. Her bones showed no obvious signs of predation or violence, though this didn't rule out either possibility. Some researchers suggested she might have died from disease, while others proposed that she simply died of old age. The lack of trauma on her bones suggested a relatively peaceful death, though the cause remained unknown. In 2016, more than 40 years after Lucy's discovery, new technology finally provided clues about her death. High-resolution CT scans revealed fractures in her bones that weren't visible to the naked eye. The pattern of these fractures was consistent with a fall from a significant height, suggesting that Lucy might have fallen from a tree. This finding was particularly poignant given what we know about Lucy's species. They were clearly adapted for both terrestrial and arboreal life, spending time both on the ground and in the trees. If Lucy did die from a fall, it would represent a tragic end to a life spent navigating between these two worlds, the arboreal world of her ancestors and the terrestrial world of her descendants. The discovery of Lucy's cause of death also highlighted the ongoing risks faced by early hominids as they adapted to their changing environment. The transition from a primarily arboreal lifestyle to a more terrestrial one would have involved new challenges and dangers. Falls from trees would have been just one of many risks in a world filled with predators, environmental hazards, and competition for resources. The preservation of Lucy's remains was itself a remarkable story. The conditions that allowed her bones to fossilize were extremely rare and required a precise combination of factors. She had to die in a location where her bones could be quickly buried by sediment, protecting them from scavengers and the elements. The sediment had to be of the right composition to preserve the bones without destroying them through chemical action. The volcanic activity in the Afar region during Lucy's time created ideal conditions for fossilization. Periodic volcanic eruptions covered the landscape with layers of ash that could quickly bury organic remains. These ash layers also provided a way to date the fossils, as the volcanic minerals could be dated using radiometric techniques. The geological processes that preserved Lucy's bones continued for millions of years after her death. Layer upon layer of sediment covered her remains, creating a protective envelope that shielded them from the surface environment. The gradual mineralization of her bones replaced the organic material with minerals, creating the fossils that would eventually be discovered by Johansen and his team. The landscape where Lucy lived and died continued to evolve long after her time. The volcanic activity that helped preserve her bones also continued to reshape the region. New volcanoes formed, old ones became extinct, and the gradual movement of tectonic plates continued to transform the African continent. The climate of the region also continued to change. The cooling and drying trend that began during Lucy's time continued, eventually transforming the relatively lush woodlands of the Pliocene into the more arid landscapes we see today. These environmental changes drove the evolution of new species and the extinction of others, including eventually Lucy's own species. The story of human evolution continued long after Lucy's time. Her species gave rise to other species of early hominids, some of which eventually led to the evolution of the genus Homo and ultimately to modern humans. The evolutionary path from Lucy to modern humans was long and complex, involving numerous species and millions of years of gradual change. One of the most important developments in human evolution after Lucy's time was the evolution of the genus Homo, which appeared in Africa around 2.8 million years ago. The earliest members of this genus were still quite primitive, with brains only slightly larger than those of Lucy's species. However, they began to make more sophisticated tools and to exhibit behaviors that were increasingly human-like. The evolution of larger brains was a gradual process that took place over millions of years. Each successive species of early humans had slightly larger brains than their predecessors, and with these larger brains came increasingly sophisticated behaviors. Tool use became more systematic and complex. Social behaviors became more elaborate, and eventually language and symbolic thought emerged. The development of stone tool technology was a crucial milestone in human evolution. The first stone tools appeared in Africa around 3.3 million years ago, not long after Lucy's time. These early tools were simple, just stones that had been deliberately chipped to create sharp edges. However, they represented a revolutionary advance in human technology and opened up new possibilities for processing food and materials. The use of fire was another crucial development in human evolution. The controlled use of fire allowed early humans to cook food, extend their active hours into the night, and survive in colder climates. This technology appeared relatively late in human evolution, possibly as recently as 400,000 years ago, though some evidence suggests it may have been used much earlier. The evolution of language was perhaps the most important development in human evolution after the appearance of bipedalism. Language allowed humans to share complex information, coordinate sophisticated group activities, and pass knowledge from one generation to the next. The exact timing of language evolution is still debated, but most researchers believe it appeared sometime between 200,000 and 50,000 years ago. The development of symbolic thought and artistic expression was another crucial milestone. The earliest known examples of symbolic behavior, such as the use of ochre pigments and the creation of jewelry, appeared in Africa around 100,000 years ago. These behaviors indicated that early humans were beginning to think in abstract terms and to create meaning beyond immediate survival needs. The migration of early humans out of Africa was a major chapter in the human story. This migration began around 70,000 years ago and eventually led to the colonization of every continent except Antarctica. The ability to adapt to diverse environments around the world was a testament to the flexibility and ingenuity that characterized human evolution from Lucy's time onward. The development of agriculture around 10,000 years ago marked another major transition in human history. The ability to cultivate crops and domesticate animals allowed humans to settle in permanent communities and to support much larger populations. This agricultural revolution set the stage for the development of complex civilizations and the technological advances that characterize modern human society. The Industrial Revolution of the 18th and 19th centuries represented another major milestone in human development. The harnessing of mechanical power and the development of mass production techniques transformed human society and created the foundation for the modern world. This revolution was made possible by the accumulated knowledge and technological capabilities that had been developing since Lucy's time. The scientific revolution that began in the 16th century was equally important in shaping the modern world. The development of the scientific method and the systematic study of the natural world led to unprecedented advances in human knowledge and understanding. It was this scientific tradition that eventually made possible the discovery and study of Lucy's remains. The discovery of Lucy was itself part of a larger scientific revolution in our understanding of human origins. The development of radiometric dating techniques, advances in comparative anatomy, and the systematic exploration of fossil-bearing deposits in Africa all contributed to the emerging picture of human evolution. Lucy's discovery was a crucial piece of this puzzle, but it was part of a much larger scientific enterprise. The ongoing study of human evolution continues to reveal new insights into our origins and development. New fossil discoveries regularly challenge and refine our understanding of human evolution, while advances in genetic analysis provide new tools for studying evolutionary relationships. The story of human evolution is far from complete, and new chapters are being written all the time. The technological advances that have occurred since Lucy's discovery have also revolutionized the study of human evolution. High-resolution CT scanning, advanced dating techniques, and sophisticated computer modeling have all provided new ways to extract information from fossil remains. These advances have revealed details about Lucy's life and death that were impossible to detect when she was first discovered. The development of ancient DNA analysis has opened up entirely new avenues for studying human evolution. While the extraction of DNA from fossils as old as Lucy remains extremely challenging, researchers have successfully extracted genetic material from more recent human ancestors. This genetic evidence provides insights into evolutionary relationships and population movements that complement the fossil record. The study of modern human genetics has also provided important insights into human evolution. The analysis of genetic variation in modern populations has revealed details about human migration patterns, population bottlenecks, and the relationships between different human groups. This genetic evidence generally supports the picture of human evolution that emerged from the fossil record, including Lucy's discovery. The ongoing exploration of fossil sites in Africa continues to yield new discoveries that refine our understanding of human evolution. Sites in Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, and Chad have all produced important fossils that fill in gaps in the human evolutionary record. Each new discovery adds to the growing picture of human evolution as a complex branching process rather than a simple linear progression. The study of human evolution has also been enhanced by advances in our understanding of animal behavior and ecology. studies of modern primates have provided insights into the likely behaviors of early hominids, while research on carnivores and other animals has helped reconstruct the environments in which our ancestors lived. This ecological perspective has been crucial for understanding the selective pressures that drove human evolution. The discovery of Lucy also highlighted the importance of international cooperation in scientific research. The team that discovered her included researchers from the United States, France, and Ethiopia, and her study has involved scientists from around the world. This international collaboration has been essential for advancing our understanding of human evolution and continues to be important for ongoing research. The ethical implications of studying human ancestors have also become increasingly important since Lucy's discovery. Questions about the ownership of fossils, the rights of indigenous communities, and the responsibilities of researchers have all gained prominence. The return of Lucy's remains to Ethiopia and their display in the National Museum of Ethiopia represents an important step in recognizing the cultural significance of these discoveries. The educational impact of Lucy's discovery has been immense. Her story has been incorporated into curricula around the world, helping to teach students about human evolution, scientific method, and the importance of evidence-based thinking. The availability of detailed information about her discovery and significance has made human evolution more accessible to students and the general public. The cultural impact of Lucy's discovery has also been significant. She has appeared in countless books, documentaries, and other media, often serving as a symbol of human origins and scientific discovery. Her story has inspired artists, writers, and filmmakers to explore themes of evolution, identity, and humanity's place in the natural world. Lucy's discovery also came at a time when the relationship between science and society was changing. The environmental movement of the 1960s and 1970s had heightened public awareness of humanity's impact on the natural world, and Lucy's story provided a powerful reminder of our connection to nature and our evolutionary origins. This message resonated with people around the world and helped build support for conservation efforts. The discovery of Lucy also contributed to changing attitudes toward Africa and its contributions to human knowledge. For too long, Africa had been viewed primarily as a source of raw materials and exotic animals. Lucy's discovery highlighted Africa's central role in human evolution and helped challenge stereotypes about the continent and its people. The story of Lucy's discovery also demonstrates the importance of persistence and dedication in scientific research. The team that discovered her had been working in the challenging conditions of the Afar Depression for years before making their breakthrough discovery. Their success was the result of careful planning, systematic exploration, and the willingness to work in difficult and sometimes dangerous conditions. The ongoing conservation of the sites where Lucy was discovered has also become an important priority. The Afar Depression continues to be an active area of paleontological research, and protecting these sites for future generations is crucial for continuing to advance our understanding of human evolution. Climate change, development pressures, and political instability all pose threats to these important scientific resources. As we look to the future, Lucy's legacy continues to inspire new generations of scientists and researchers. Her discovery showed that careful observation, systematic investigation, and innovative analysis can reveal extraordinary insights about our past. The methods and approaches developed for studying her remains continue to be refined and applied to new discoveries. The story of Lucy also reminds us of the importance of curiosity and wonder in scientific discovery. The sense of excitement and amazement that accompanied her discovery continues to drive researchers to explore new questions and push the boundaries of human knowledge. This spirit of inquiry is essential for continued progress in understanding our origins and our place in the natural world. The technological advances that have occurred since Lucy's discovery suggest that even more remarkable discoveries await us in the future. New analytical techniques, advanced computing capabilities, and innovative field methods will undoubtedly reveal new insights about human evolution and our relationship to the natural world. The interdisciplinary nature of modern paleoanthropological research also promises to yield new insights. The integration of genetics, ecology, climate science, and other fields is providing increasingly sophisticated understanding of the processes that drove human evolution. This holistic approach to studying the past is essential for understanding the complex interactions that shaped our species. As we continue to grapple with the challenges of the modern world, climate change, environmental degradation, social inequality, and technological disruption, Lucy's story provides both perspective and inspiration. Her discovery reminds us that humans are part of nature, not separate from it, and that our future depends on understanding and respecting our place in the natural world. The long journey from Lucy's time to our own is a testament to the power of evolution to create complexity, diversity, and ultimately consciousness itself. The same processes that shaped Lucy's species continue to shape us today, and understanding these processes is crucial for navigating the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. In the end, Lucy's story is a story of connection to our past, to the natural world, and to each other. Her discovery reminds us that despite our differences, all humans share a common ancestry and a common fate. We are all descendants of the small hominids who walked the African landscape millions of years ago, and we all carry within us the legacy of their struggles, adaptations, and triumphs. As you prepare for sleep, let Lucy's story fill you with wonder at the incredible journey that brought you to this moment. From the ancient forests and savannas of Africa to the modern world of cities and technology, the path of human evolution has been long and remarkable. You are the latest chapter in this ongoing story, and your life is part of the continuing adventure of human existence on Earth.